All right, welcome to Tuliamka. We are live now. It's your host Prince and Jonica, and I'm with what's your name?
Eli
Eli.
of
Okay,
of
and
one
Eli, I found him from TikTok, and he's a conscious brother. So today we're going to be talking about the loss of self-respect of Black women, and I feel like it's the music that's playing a big role in devaluing their character. So what do you think about that?
no well the music is the number one influence along with the media,
Hmm.
and those two things go together, go hand in hand. Um so it's the music and the it's both the music, the media, and then the way that society is set up, uh, the way that
Hmm.
society is set up to, as far as uh, I don't want to use that word, but that's the word they use, empowerment. Uh, you know, the way that it makes them feel, the society makes them. It's interesting. Society makes them feel empowered, even though in
Hmm.
reality they're really not empowered to do much. You understand? Like it builds their self esteem as a female, not necessarily as a woman. As a female, it builds their
Uh,
self esteem, but it builds their self esteem to just be, I don't know, just be just not necessarily to be like empowered to be like a black woman or a mother or a wife, but it just empowers them in their, in whatever the media is promoting to them. Then society empowers them for that.
okay, so give me an example of what you mean.
For example, like you see a lot of women, they say they empowered. I have to find another word for that, but that's the word they use. They empowered, but empowered to do what? For exactly, for to be what exactly? For example, they say, oh, they say I'm a queen, or I'm a female bee, I'm a bad bee.
Right.
So they empowered, in they empowered uh, to go along with whatever the music and media is promoting to them. But it's
Hmm.
not really an empowerment, it's more manipulation, but they call it empowerment. So they being empowered to to just go along with what somebody else is dictating to them that they should be.
Yeah, that reminds me of the slut walk. Have you heard of the slut walk?
No.
Okay, so that's you familiar with Amber Rose?
Hmm.
Yeah, so she basically is just um gloating the fact that she's a slut, and that's what they're doing now. Uh, and then I don't know if you saw Suki Hana met with Dr. Umar.
Uh, I probably met, but I don't see. I don't remember who the Sukiyama is. She's that
Yeah,
black woman that was talking BS.
she's a black woman. She's a rapper, but she talks about sex in her music, gloats about it. But she went to
Mm.
meet Dr. Umar because, and Dr. Umar said he wouldn't mind working with her if she would transform her life and come to be conscious instead of being uh, gloating about the sexualized music.
She wanted Doctor work with Doctor Omo to do what? To work with her for what?
No, Dr. Umar was trying to see if she was going to transform her life and get rid of the unconscious music and become conscious. But
Okay.
yeah, but she went back to her lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's also the the frequencies. Are you into like different frequencies, how they affect the brain?
Yes.
Yes, like you have 32 hertz, 440 hertz. and like I
Hmm.
know some of like people that listen to music and it's at a low frequency that they're playing it
Yeah.
in. So that's why the rap music is making you want to go out here and kill somebody because you just hear that low dark frequency.
Hmm. Yeah. The frequency in which we listen to music now is is lower on purpose. Uh,
Hmm.
it's the Europeans who decided to play it at that frequency. Um, I guess to get accomplished what they wanted accomplished,
Hmm.
and I guess it's working because the music is really messing us up as a people, as a society, as a race, and music is extremely powerful for us blacks and Africans. Music is a spiritual thing, and that's the thing. Music is a spiritual thing, so we are really connected uh, to music, with music, and then when we dance and as far as to meditate, that was one of our ways of meditation, is with music and getting into trance. It was through music and the drums and so forth, and the Europeans took it in and transformed it and used it for something else to be destructive. But as you can see, we have a much closer connection with music than other people due to our melanin. We hear sound quicker, and that's why they'll say whites are offbeat and stuff like that. But it's due to the our melanin. It causes us to hear sound quicker. As soon as the sound is released, we hear it and we move to it. So we are connected to it. The Europeans, the music sounds and then they hear it. But with us,
Right, right.
as the music sounds, we hear it. So we hear it quicker, causing us to
That,
be able to move with it rather than moving
yeah,
after it.
that's why you listen to the music and you just bob your head to it, not because of the lyrics, but because of the beat, right?
Yeah, yeah. The
Hmm.
beat and the drums and that music, all these things, and even dancing too. Dancing is spiritual. Is
Oh
spiritual,
yeah.
not in the form of what we call spirit now, as far as people going to church and worship and stuff like that, but but in being connected with the spirit and with the spirits, which basically the spirits of our ancestors. We are our ancestors, and we are spirits. That's what makes the world move. Um, so in being connected with that, music and dancing is spiritual. But the Europeans have took it and perverted it, and something that we used to use that would connect us with our identity, now it's being used to destroy us and
Mm.
divide us.
Right, right. Because music is vibration, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
music is extremely
yeah,
powerful.
yeah. So, are you familiar with Shahrazad Ali?
Shahrazad Ali,
Yes.
she's Muslim.
I don't know her religion, but I know that she's a uh activist. She's a speaker, and she talks about like the black like basically. I got this book right here. Have you read this? The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
No, I haven't read that, but the name sounds familiar. I think I know who you talking about. She's gone now, right? She passed.
No, I think she's still living.
Okay.
Yeah, but she basically talks about how to understand the black woman more, and that's what I'm trying to do now. Like when I have conversations with black women from older and younger, I try to hear them out instead of like talk over them. I try to hear like understand their perspective because you know how they say like the black man wasn't in the house hold and they some of them say black men ain't shit and they're bashing black men, not all of them, but it's like I'm trying to bridge the gap between black women and black men so we can have a common ground instead of argue with each other. So what do you think about black women that bash black men? Some of them.
Well, a lot of them do, and like I said, it's due to the programming. Is due to the programming, because the mass majority of us, um, we don't think outside the box. We don't think on our own. We think when and how and what society dictates to us, and obviously society and those who control it are our enemies. Uh, so we uh, so black women have this idea in their head of what, and then it's also being ignorance of history. You know, when you don't understand the history, so you don't understand how we got to where we are,
Right.
and how long have we been there. So when you understand, when you properly understand, and that's why knowledge is extremely important. When you properly understand where we came from and how we got here, then I'm all for holding for accountability. But the one thing I have a problem with people of melanin, people of you, is that most of them they want to put blame only on us, but never put blame on they totally and completely ignore the thousands of years, the a thousand times worse things that the Europeans have done to us that has gotten us here. So with the music, because that's what the music preaches. That's what the music preaches, and and again, and rap music, and it also has an effect on us too, and on our men. So we have these men, we have these, you know, these women having children and raising children on their own, and then naturally, if you're going to raise, you know, there's a issue if you're going to raise a child on your own, because obviously that's not how nature intended it to be. But for due to the way society is set up, men are not responsible and taking their responsibilities and be in the home. um, so that alone gives an impression in the minds of the women, along with the music, the music, uh, uh you know, to hate black men. Because at the end of the day, that the key in order to destroy a people and to control a people is to get divide them, to
Mm-hmm.
divide
Right.
them and get them, you know, to be at odds with each other. And so we, while we fighting with each other, we don't have time to see what other people is doing, because we're so focused on each other. And that's
Yeah.
basically what has happened. So you have a lot of these women being empowered for foolishness, and being influenced with foolishness, and at the same time they have the reality that, you know, most men are not in the home. They grew up without their dads, um, and then their mother had a, you know, had have a negative due to the experience that she has with the man. So, you know, she's raising the woman, the girl or the child a certain way, um, and that says that men are not necessary or men are not needed. And then you have the
Mm-hmm.
music that also supports that foolishness. So and one thing, and the worst thing about this empowerment, women empowerment thing, which I don't like using that term. That's what they call it, but I don't like saying it because that's not what it is. But is that you can't really talk to a woman. Black women have become like the Jews. You can't say anything negative about them. If you say anything negative about them, uh, they're gonna gang up on you, and they're gonna be your enemy. So you can't critique them in any way. You can't give constructive criticism. You just have to, you know. So whatever you say negatively, whether it's true or not, they're gonna have a problem with you. So, so one of our major problems with the women is they're not even willing to listen to men, because society has already told them men ain't, you know, men
Mm-hmm.
ain't shit. So they won't even listen. They won't even listen. And then there's two sides to every story, but our women are constructed to only take what they're being promoted and what they think and how they feel and what they believe, rather than the reality, rather than the truth, rather than the facts. All that doesn't matter. So in a way, they've become just like religious people. Religious people don't really give a
So,
damn about facts. They don't give a
right,
damn
right.
about facts, truth, stuff like that.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm gonna ask you, why do you think some black women want to be called a HOE rather than a queen? Like I try to call black women queen, and she rather be called the B word. Is that
well,
because like
that's
the army also? Wait, go ahead.
it's because of popular culture. It's what's being influenced. It's what's being influenced. It's what's being promoted. That's what they seeing. That's what they hearing. And then the people who's promoting to them are, when it comes to financially, are better off than them. So in a sense, the people who's promoting to them this BS is is uh not successful, but they look successful to them because majority of people, all we want is just is money and bling bling. So and the people who's
Mm,
promoting to them this garbage, they have the money and the bling bling. So in a sense, it's like it's somebody they looking up to or they inspired to be, and that person is telling them, well, this is what you needed to believe. So act like me. If I have what you want, then you're gonna want to imitate me
right, right,
if
yeah.
you don't know how to get it. And these people, these artists, these singers, these rappers, female, that's what they promoting, and they have money and they have fame. Um, so
Mm,
naturally, that's what, if you're not an individual that thinks outside the box or that's able to think for yourself, then you just gonna that's what you're gonna inspire to be. That's what you're gonna like. That's what you're gonna imitate,
mm,
especially when you don't have the proper or especially when you have the proper structure at home. Because if you had the proper structure at home, like you had mom and you had dad, and they were taking care of their responsibilities to raise you, then outside influence would impact you a little bit less. But the fact that they don't have the father image at home, and the mother image is the image that I'm a bad woman and I could do anything by myself, and I don't need a man.
mm,
So then naturally, because you need structure, and this is the thing: if you don't get what you need at home, if you don't get what you need from your parents are the ones who's supposed to give you the structure. They're the one who's supposed to be your role model, to lead
yeah.
you, to give you the way. And that's something that we need, as kids, we need. So if we don't get it from our parents, we're gonna get it from somewhere. And most likely, if
Mm,
you don't get it from your parents, then you're gonna get it somewhere where you really have no business getting it, because your parents should be the number one people that wants the best for you. Everybody
yeah.
else really don't give a damn. Never mind in this European centric world reality. No one really gives a damn. So if your parents is not playing their role, and then you have the school, teaching you garbage. You have the media teaching you garbage. You have the music teaching you garbage. You have your friends teaching you garbage. Then at the end of the day, you are what you eat.
Right, right. And I want to say, back in slavery times, like the black men and black women were more closer because I guess they are all that they had. So uh, I always think about that, like before integration. Like, do you think integration kind of ruined the black family? Like, it made us separate, or like the
uh,
school?
I don't think integration is absolutely the worst thing that has after the emancipation. Uh, Integration was the worst thing that happened to us. Uh, and what people don't
Mm,
understand about integration is, okay, so we had a history, we had an identity, we had a story, we had a name, we were a people. They robbed you of all that. And when they robbed you of all that, and had they taken everything from you, and now they own and control 99% of everything. So you
yeah,
have absolutely nothing. What the hell are you going to integrate with? So that society would always be there. There will always be an imbalance, and that imbalance will be these people will always control you because they had hundreds of years of head start by robbing you, and you don't know who you are, you don't know your ancestors, you don't know your story, so you starting off for nothing. So what do you have to be proud of? So and automatically you're gonna look up to them, and you're gonna worship them, and you're not gonna want to be on your own. And that's what integration did. I don't blame our situation on slavery, because we are such a phenomenal people because of our melanin. We are such phenomenal people. We can bounce back from anything. And after the emancipation and all throughout slavery, when they were, despite the fact that they were separating us, but we were together. We were together, and after the Emancipation Proclamation, uh, about 60 years, not even 100 years, we had Black Wall Street, hundreds of them. We had black. We were segregated, and with that segregation, we had our own towns. We didn't go to white school. We had our own school, but who had to create them? We created them, and we created the best communities, wealthy communities, black owned school, black owned grocery stores, black owned markets, black owned businesses, black owned automobile, black owned everything, and we were striving. We're thriving. We were the it. um and so because of that, and there was hundreds of Black Wall Streets. So because of that, I can't say yes, slavery, of course slavery was a very sick, demonic, bad and evil thing. But when it comes to the effect that slavery had on us, we bounced back really quick. uh, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and 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 that's the real reason why. And what happened is the Europeans, they changed the rule. They changed the playbook. So when they realized that, after slavery, we were dominating them. Our communities were doing better than them, and black wealth was created, and that wealth remained in the black community. So, and at the end of the
yeah.
day, the whole reason for racism, whole reason for slavery, is about money. So now that we are segregated, we are emancipated, and we are segregated, but we were doing very well, and our money stayed within our community. So
Mm,
the key was, how do we get, for the European race, how do we get that money away from them? Because Europeans didn't bring you into this place, into America, and Europeans didn't enslave you and colonize you, uh, so that you can participate in the wealth. They did that to take the wealth from you. And after slavery, they seen that, damn, with all this mental abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, you can't keep a black man down. And
mhm.
that's when the whole integration idea came in. The whole purpose of integration was, so that the black wealth can now enter the white establishment. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened, because the moment, and then, mm, let's just be honest about the fact, most people won't think about the history, but the history, after you've been raped for so many years, your ancestors been raped, you've been enslaved for so long, you were beaten, you were raped, and so forth. Why would you want to integrate with the race of people who did this to you? Why? It makes no absolute sense. And that's
Mm.
because they didn't. Black people didn't
And
want to integrate,
marriage is a
you know.
political thing as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
it's fine.
so we didn't want to integrate. With no one in their right mind wanted to integrate. But so the only people who wanted to integrate, because the only people integration benefits, is the European race. So the European race, they can't say let's integrate, because master, you wouldn't agree. So they do what they always do. They find a Negro who's willing to to hop and dance. And I'm not throwing shade on Martin Luther King, But that's just the reality. Martin Luther King was financed by white supremacy to preach the integration message. Now that doesn't mean that Martin Luther King was a bad dude. That doesn't mean that he what he did was necessarily wrong. It wasn't, it wasn't in our interest, but he may have believed that it was in our interest. But at the end of the day,
Mm.
they the ones who financed him to preach the integration message, and he preached it for a long time. And that's when a lot of black people started to embrace that message. So at the end of the day, the truth is the black people, Africans, people of melanin, were bamboozled into integration. It wasn't something that we desired. It was something that we were manipulated with. We were coerced with BS
Right.
sweet words. And that's what it is. So, but
Mm.
the moment that happened, what happened when you integrate? So naturally, if you're going to integrate and you're going to come out of black success, you're going to come out of Black Wall Street. So what's going to happen? So these are, if you're going to integrate with white, so that means that those black businesses have to go. Those thriving
Mm.
black communities have to go because you got to leave them to integrate. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what happened. And now in 2023, we have less black businesses and less black wealth than we had during segregation. During segregation, black we had more black wealth, we had more black businesses, we had more black communities. Um, but now we don't. Now we have coons, we have Negroes who work for white. We have billionaires and millionaires, but what are they doing? They're working for white supremacy. They singing stupid songs and hooping and hollering and playing basketball and
So,
all that stuff. But the mass majority of us, we don't have anything. And then the thing is, when you don't have anything and you integrate, it's basically when you have coffee, and if you pour water into coffee long enough, eventually it's not going to be coffee anymore. And that's exactly what has happened to us, because when we came out of slavery, when we came out of emancipation, and we were enslaved for so many years, so we already
mm.
lost everything. So that means that we would have to start off fresh. So if we're going to
Yeah, yeah.
start off fresh, if we're going to start off fresh, start with nothing, and then we just so dynamite, so great people that we did a 360 real quick.
Right, right, right.
But
And
but
not to
the
cut you off,
Europeans. Hmm?
not to cut you off, but I was gonna divert the conversation to, like, I want to touch on black women's hair. Like, I know a lot of black women, uh, a lot of the young black women, they don't wear their natural hair, and they wear like weave and um dye their hair. They don't wear like the natural afro, like how my hair is, like an afro. They don't wear
Yeah,
afro.
the natural style is not in style anymore. Um, the natural, but then again, like I said, we live in a Eurocentric worldview. So, and in the Eurocentric worldview, let's just be honest about the fact. Uh, what is natural is not in style. Europeans don't like anything that's natural in reality.
Mm,
We don't eat natural food. They
right.
modify everything. They modify everything and make everything fake. So they don't like the sun. Um, Everything that we consume is poison. It's modified somehow. So the natural is not in style. Um, and at the end of the day, it was we, people of melanin, people of you, that were natural. We are natural people.
Mm.
So if we don't fight to keep that, then it's gonna be gone, because the Europeans sure as hell ain't gonna promote natural. Because
And
the natural.
doesn't
Mhm.
weave like hurt, like cause like cancer?
Uh, I don't know if we've caused cancer, but what I do know is I know that the natural our hair, our hair is kind of like serves like as an antenna. As an antenna, it's connected to the sun, and we receive from the sun. Our hair and Europeans' hair are two different types of hair. We are the only people on this planet with hair. Everybody else has fur. Europeans have fur. The hair that they have is the same hair that's on the dog, the same hair that's on the bear. We're the only ones with hair. So this nappy, this whatever you want to call it, nappy, whatever hair. This is the only one that's hair. Everybody else has fur. Um, uh,
I don't understand. I don't understand how they don't like their natural hair because, like, you look at Angela Davis, she has a huge afro, but to me, I think it looks good because it's natural. But I guess we're in such a fake world that what looks good is the fake stuff. But you're not used to seeing somebody natural. Like somebody the other day told me to get a haircut, and they're not used to. But we didn't have clippers back in the day. We just had our natural hair, and it just grows like this.
mhm, mhm. Uh, well, we uh, the mass majority of what the majority thinks, believes is controlled. So whoever controls information controls your mind. Whoever controls information controls what you believe. Whoever controls information controls how you see stuff, controls your perspective. So we don't control information. The media is controlled by Europeans. The textbooks are controlled by Europeans. The press is controlled by the Europeans. The newspapers are controlled by Europeans. The television, movies, and Hollywood controlled by Europeans. So naturally, what we think is going to also be controlled by Europeans. And unless you are woke, which really means to uh, come out of the trends of whatever you've been indoctrinated to believe, but to be able to think and ask questions, but
Mm-hmm.
not just believe or go along with it because of that's what you were taught. Um, so the mass majority of people are not like that. So and I was once like that, you know. So we go to
Mm-hmm.
school for so long, and we are programmed to believe a certain way. So that shows that's what you call social construct. So what we have in society is social construct, but a lot of people don't understand that. They think they free. You ain't free. What you believe, what you think, and how you feel is all controlled and manipulated by information. And if we don't control information, if we don't go seeking information, if we don't know any information outside of what the Europeans have given us, then how can you really be free? You ain't free, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So the idea of beauty cannot cannot be your own until you understand that. Well, okay, so all the things I've been told is not true, and let me go look and attempt to find the truth. So, but as long as you hold to all the things that, if you've never grown to that place of maturity to question things and to say, wait, something's going on here. I know I've been told this, but this doesn't look like it. So, if you don't get to that place where you begin to ask questions and question the things that you've been taught, then you will never get to a place of intelligence or to a place of freedom. Because freedom is the ability to think outside of what you've been programmed to do. So,
Right.
majority of us are not fighting for freedom. Well, that's because we weren't programmed. That's not what we were programmed to do. We weren't programmed to desire freedom. We were programmed to
So let
think
me.
that America's the shit.
So
Mhm.
like the black men that are dating outside their race, like what do you say to, like, let's say you got a black man, he's trying to like understand a black woman, and he's a good black man, and he's trying to do the best that he can, but the black woman is not really understanding him, and now he wants to like, okay, I'm gonna date outside my race now. So what do you say to that?
Dating outside the race. Um, to be see, things are deep because you can't just have an opinion. All right, you have to understand a lot of things. So when it comes to dating outside your race, you have to understand. You have to have a good understanding of history. You have to have a good understanding of genetics. have a good understanding of social construct and all that stuff to understand, is it is it good or is it bad and why it's not. But majority of us operate off on of feelings and what we believe and what we think. So we don't really operate off the facts because many of us don't care to research to find out the facts. But interracial marriage is, well, okay, let me speak for myself. There is nothing in this there's nothing in this world or outside of this world that would ever convince me to date outside of my race. And no matter how, no matter how whatever black women become, I will never date outside of my race. And the reason is because, well, for many reasons. Well, first of all, I understand that as a I understand the difference between us, people of melanin, people of you Africans, and everybody else. First of all, Africans, people of melanin, people of you, we are the only ones on this planet that have 100% human DNA. Only
mm,
Africans. Uh, Everybody else have animal, uh, have Neanderthal genes. Neanderthal is basically animal gene. Um, it's an ape and something else. And so at the end of the day, that alone lets you know that it's, for example, it's like a dog and a cat. You know, you won't see a dog and a cat together. You won't see an elephant and a horse together because they
mm,
have differences. But the problem is
mm,
we don't understand our differences. So first of all, we are the original people, and the black woman is God. The black woman is holds is the first woman, uh, and the mother of creation. Uh, but a lot of people don't know their history, and then there's a lot of BS being a lot of BS theories online where people, especially Europeans, they want to confuse you. They want you to, first of all, we have this Christian religious message that tells us that we all the same. And if you believe that crap, you a special kind of fool, because all throughout history it proves that there's a totally difference between us, and there's genetic differences between us. First of all, people of melanin, uh, uh, we are we are alkaline. Our genetic makeup
mm,
is alkaline. The Europeans are acidic. That's why they eat meat. Um, and since we were colonized,
okay.
we think we're supposed to eat meat too. And then, secondly, Europeans are allergic to the sun.
Mm,
Europeans are allergic to the sun, and how I like to explain that is the sun. The sun basically gives life to everything that is natural and organic, and it destroys
mm,
bacteria and viruses. So you could do with that whatever you want. Europeans are allergic to the sun, and they cannot spend more than 15 minutes in direct sunlight, or they will begin to self-destruct. So
right.
when you understand that type of biology and genetics, you understand that difference between us. And then, but one of the major difference again is the Neanderthal genes, which is an animal gene. Uh, so at the end of the day, you can ask questions and research, uh, but when you just assume, then that's very dangerous, because a lot of people say, "Oh, we all the same." No, we're not all the same. And there's people, saying that, "Oh, Europeans come from us," or there's people saying Europeans are just black people who lost their color because of thousands of years being in the cold and the equator and being in Europe and whatever. So you think that we are the same? We're not the same. And if we were the same, they wouldn't have spent thousands of years trying to destroying you. So we're not the same. And then
Mm.
when you love your ancestors,
Now,
when you love yourself,
mm,
when you love yourself and your
I got one more question
ancestors.
for
Mhm.
you. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, yeah. We're about to wrap it up in just a minute, but I got one last question. I just want to know how can we, um, as black men and black women, start to come together to heal from slavery? Because we didn't heal from slavery. How can we like understand each other more and come together?
Well, yeah, see, I don't think the problem is really healing from slavery because, like I told you, after slavery, we were doing great. So all the negative things that happened in slavery, we bounced back from that. Now, what happened was the Europeans caught a hold to that, and so when they saw that, then they changed the playbooks. The same things that they did in slavery, they continued to do it. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying, if you leave us alone, if you leave black people alone, if you leave melanated people alone, Africans alone, we will transform
Mhm.
and come back to what we are. The problem is we're not being left alone, and the Europeans will never leave you alone. And what I mean by that, they would. That's why they do everything to control the narrative, to control what you hear, to control what you know, to control how you feel, so that they can control you. Because the moment they no longer control you, because of our melanin, and melanin is something that is always changing. It's not constant. So because of that, no matter what we've gone through, no matter what our experience was, we will bounce back from it and we will go back to our original state if we are left alone. But the problem is
So you,
the European. So the problem is not what happened throughout slavery. The problem is the tricks and the tactics and the manipulations that the Europeans still use in order to keep us in the state that we are today.
so you're saying that basically they're not leaving us alone, so that way we can't really
Exactly.
grow. Okay,
Well,
that's
so they're not leaving us alone, but understanding is the battle. Knowledge is power. The problem is many of us we don't realize that we think we're free. We think we're free thinkers when we think everything is normal or the Europeans are not, but so if majority of us knew those things that I've stated, those facts, and understood that the reason why we can't get it together is not necessarily because of us, but it's because our enemies have never stopped working, have never stopped, have never slept.
but
So
you
the
got
only
a, you got young black girls that don't want to know the history.
yes. So the only thing we can do, in my opinion, the only thing we can do is those of us who have our eyes open, who are not uh, um, in mental enslavement, is to continue to speak the truth, and then use our platforms, social media, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. Write books, and do radio stations and do our own media, to control the narrative and influence, so that we can have influence on them rather than just the European institutions having influence on them. Uh, that's the only thing because at, if majority of us knew the truth, then majority of us would automatically get out of the daze. Basically, we've been put in a trance. We've been put in a
Okay,
trance. Now, what needs to happen is we need to get out of the trance. But the moment you get out of the trance, you ain't going back to it. So the key is
right.
how do we get out of the trance? And the only way to get out of the trance is to have some kind of interruption, some kind of interruption between the indoctrination, the manipulation, uh, and the
Mm.
indoctrination of the Europeans.
But it's definitely music though. Like if we had, imagine if we had a black female conscious rapper, like what that would do. Like that, imagine she was talking about building businesses and loving black men and dressing appropriately and uh just positive things for our community. Like imagine if we had a rapper. I don't think we
Well, we
got
had
one
that.
rapper. I heard. Uh, you said what?
We had that when rap started. When rap started, that's what it was. It was black empowerment, and the Europeans didn't like that. And you see what that's what I'm saying.
but
We are always being interrupted. We are always being interrupted. So the thing is, okay, this is what we have to realize as black folks. As long as a European exists, we will have an enemy. As long as a European exists, you will be at threat, and we have to fight to protect and defend ourselves. So in the beginning, rap music was all black empowerment, and the Europeans didn't like that because they didn't like that, and that's when they what you said what you call that word, they infiltrated it. So what they did is they planted drugs in our communities, and then they offered they took control of the music industry and started offering people contracts. So naturally, when you know, yeah, you preaching black empowerment, and that's all good, but now you can make money, or you have a couple of guys who want to sing, and you're willing to pay them. But understand, the people who's paying you, they control the narrative, and
right, right, right.
those people, you're not allowed to say their names. The people that you're not allowed to say their names, but it end in a W and a S, they the ones who control the music industry, right? And so
Right,
basically,
right.
and they're not gonna finance black empowerment. So when you come with that black empowerment, they're gonna say, nah. You need to change that. So they're the one who finance. They're the one who promote that trash
Uh,
music. So in order for our artists, in order for our rappers to make money, they have to sing that BS, because the people who pays
right,
them
right.
tells them that that's what we're
Ye-
gonna promote. That's what we're gonna put on the radio.
Yeah, I knew that there was a black conscious rappers. I just was talking about like a female black conscious rapper. Like if we had a female, like I don't think we had a female. I know MC Light, but I don't think we had a black female conscious rapper.
Hmm. Yeah, that I wouldn't know. I can't think of one now. I can't think of one. I don't know. But of course, but that would help. But that again, that's what I'm saying. But in order for that to be, then we would have to work at doing our own thing, as far as controlling, kind of having our own media,
Mm,
or even not even that. For example, because now you have TikTok, you have Facebook, you have YouTube, you have all that stuff. So you don't really need the market labels uh, to promote you. You could promote yourself, you know,
yeah.
because at the end of the day,
Can you see the comments?
what the main, huh?
Can you see the comments? Because somebody just commented. Jay said Lauren Hill, and I guess Lauren Hill is pretty. I never listened to Lauren Hill.
Well, that's back in the day. That's when I was growing up. I think. I can't see the comments though. Um,
Mm,
but we would have to create our own media. Uh, but we could also use the media. The thing is, if we want to do that, we can't be thinking about money, because if you're thinking about money, then if you're trying to get rich, then you're gonna go with what's popular or what society is promoting, and society is promoting BS because that's what they want. So if your motive is money, then you're easily bought. You're easily
right, right,
bought.
right.
But
Mm,
if you are an artist, if you are a rapper and you're good at it, and your conscience and your motive is black empowerment, then yeah, you could do that. You could write your musics, and you could record them. You could YouTube them. You can TikTok and stuff like that, and people will listen. People will listen, but understand at the same time. Uh, we have to we have the white media, white control media, that is our competition.
mm. And back in the
You know,
day, the 1950s and 1960s, there was like a lot of old black love music, like Teddy Pendergrass and Barry
hmm
White and Natalie Cole. Those artists, like they really talked about black love more. but now we don't really see that as much.
No, because black love is the number one weapon, the number one destroyer of the illusion of white supremacy. Because
Mm,
if you have if black love creates black families create black empowerment. And
mm,
if you are a child, or if you have a household that consists of mother, father, and child, then the mother and father is going to have complete control and influence over that child.
mm,
So it's going to be difficult for the white society to promote or to influence them or that child negatively. So
yeah.
black family is the number one threat to the illusion of white supremacy, and that's what
Mm,
and that's how we need to be thinking. We need to be thinking, what is the threat to white supremacy? The threats to white supremacy are a strong black family, a strong black, unapologetically heterosexual black man. That is another number one threat to white supremacy. They don't like black men who thinks for themselves. They don't like black men that's not gay. They don't like black men who are unapologetic. They like these sissified black men. They like these gay black men. These black men that don't have a backbone, and that don't know that they're a man and they need to stand up and fight. They don't need that. They don't need black men that's going to stand up to them. They need black men that's going to be afraid of them, and that's why they promote this homosexual, sissified, gay and transgender, to the black society. And
yeah.
unfortunately, many of our women and children, they go along with that BS.
Mm.
But
And
at the end of the day, that's why I'm
they said that
saying we need to really. Go on.
they said that the white man's weapon is a gun, and the black man's weapon is down there. Like
Yeah,
our weapon
yeah,
is,
Be-
you know.
and yeah, and that is because our penis, uh, it creates children, it creates human beings, and we already outnumber them 11-1. We are over 4 billion on this planet. They are about 400 million. So
Mm,
the more children that we have, then and then eventually they're gonna be annihilated. The numbers are coming down. It's getting hotter. They're allergic to the sun. So eventually, by natural selection, nature's gonna take them out. The sun is gonna take them out, and it just
mm,
is what it is. Because at the end of the day, we are the natural people. We are the original people. They are invaders. They are invaders.
mm,
So eventually, the Earth is going to go back to how it was, and how it was is for over. We know that the first Homo sapien uh, was in Africa about 200, 300,000 years ago. So at the end of the day, that means that black people ruled the world, and we're on this planet for a very long time. Europeans are no more than 10 million, 10,000 years old. We go back millions of years. So um, we are the original people, and this is our planet, and we are natural people. So we belong here. Now, just look all throughout history. Who's been causing all the problem? Who's been destroying nature? Who's been destroying the natural people? Who's out of place? Who needs to modify everything on this planet in order to live on it?
mm,
So that means that they don't belong here. And nature cleanse itself. Now, there's two things we could do. We can wake the hell up and unite, and that will fix our problem, or we could just wait for nature to take them out.
mm. Right, right, right. And so what do you think about Beyonce and Jay-Z? Because like they're two black billionaires, but they chose to be together, like black love.
Well, I don't know. Can we say it's black love? We don't know. We can assume it's black love, but I don't know. And I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. But anyways, it's a marriage, and at the end of the day, marriage is business. Period. Uh, uh,
Right.
uh, Black folks, first of all, the marriage institution as we have it was created by Europeans, by the Catholic Church, in order to make money. So this style of institution of marriage that we have is European. It's European,
Mhm.
and obviously it's European because in Africa and even in the Bible, you have men who had multiple wives. So this whole idea of what we have today, huh?
What do you think about polygamy?
To have that conversation, you could only have that conversation with intelligent people because most people are just going to ignore the facts and not care about them. Um, all I have to say to that is look at what we have now. Is it working? And it's not. What we have now is not married, is not working. I forgot the statistics, but you have more. I think it was 60%. 60% of marriages end in divorce,
Mm.
and uh, the 40%, half of them are unhappy.
Mm.
And so that means that in majority, over 60% of our marriages, there's an unfaithful, someone who's being unfaithful, who has somebody outside. So we can wanna embrace the lies, but this ain't working. It ain't working because for one part, it's not natural. So
Mm.
uh, because we are majority of us are indoctrinated, we want to hold on to it, despite the fact that it isn't working, and it isn't working for many reasons. So before you are against something, you need to understand what it is you're against. The half majority of people don't understand. The people who's against polygamy, they don't even know what polygamy is, and they don't
Mm.
know why we did polygamy. And the fact of the matter is, we being the oldest people on this planet, the mothers and fathers of civilization, we practice polygamy. So if you're intelligent, what you're going to do is, well, we did it, so maybe we had a good reason to. Let's go try to figure that out. But we don't do that because we are taught to self hate. We are taught to hate ourselves. So anything that's black, anything that's African, anything that's authentically is wrong, and that's the problem. So uh, uh,
Mm.
this relationship marriage we have today, they not working, and the half majority of you aren't happy, and marriages are going down anyway. People aren't getting married anymore.
Mm.
So let's just be honest. So now the intelligent thing to do would be like, okay, it's not working, let's try to figure out, let's see why. But polygamy, the whole purpose of polygamy is because these are the facts, and this is the question I want to ask women, but they'll never answer. They'll
Mm.
argue, but they'll never answer. And these are the facts. The facts are men outnumber, women outnumber men. Women
Mhm.
outnumber men. Women have always outnumbered men. Uh, women. Uh, so that means that if every man was to marry one woman, they would live hundreds or thousands of women that cannot find a
Mm.
man. So now the question
Mm.
becomes, what do you do with those women that cannot find a man because every man is already belongs to someone and women outnumber men? So what is going to happen to those women that don't have a man? So what's their options? Their option is what? Go do children, go do
Mm.
animals, or go do a married man. Women
Mm.
won't answer that because they don't care, because they're emotional. They won't answer that question. But that's the fact. The fact is, women outnumber men. So if every man on this planet was married to one woman, there would be hundreds, thousands of women left without a husband. So what do you
That's
want
deep.
them to do? You want them to be lesbians, or do you? So you're gonna say, I don't care if they're lesbians. I don't care if they sleep with animals. I don't care if they sleep with children. So you see, you have to be mature.
Mm.
That's what I said. You got to be mature to have that conversation because women won't answer that question. They'll just be like, "Oh, I'm not sharing my man."
Mm.
So the whole
Wow.
reason why, and you have to understand African history. It was women. It was women who came up with the polygamy. It wasn't even a man. It was women's idea
Mm. And I
because
want to
women.
say, there was back. black women. There was a lot of queens, like Queen Cleopatra, Nefertiti, I think,
Hmm.
and like,
Yeah,
how do we go from
yeah,
queen?
because in Africa, the Africans' belief system and spirituality and worldview, women are God, not men.
Hmm.
There's not a man on this planet. There's not a man on this planet that didn't come through a woman. So this idea that the man is the ish, or the man is God, or that God is a man, or three homosexual dudes, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You know, so there's no life on this planet, as far as we know, that didn't go through a woman. So at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, what came first? Men didn't come first, because if man came first, where would women come from?
Hmm.
But there was a point in time. There was a point in time where where women can impregnate themselves. I forgot what you call that, but you could look. You could Google that. There was a point in time where women, because there are animals who could do that, who can impregnate themselves. So you can Google that. I forgot the term, but the women could impregnate themselves, and that's what happened. Women impregnated themselves, and then uh, and then another life was born. And then at the end of the day, even on biological standpoint, a woman is an X and a Y chromosome. What is a man? A woman is
Hmm.
an X and a Y chromosome.
XX
A,
chromosome,
a,
right?
a man, a woman, I mean, a man is an X and a Y. So the Y, and then if you didn't know, in the womb, every human being in the womb, you start off as a woman. You start off, when I say you start off as a woman, technically no, but you start off with a vagina. Eventually, that vagina becomes a penis or it stays a vagina. So that Y chromosome is a malfunction X. It's an undeveloped X.
Hmm.
That's what the
Wow.
man is. That's what the man is. So the man is an X and a Y. The woman is an X and an X. The X. So the XX, one of the X didn't fully develop into a full X, and it was a Y, and that's how men were created. Okay,
Wow.
and then over time, with evolution, with genetics, and us being changed, with our DNAs being changed, and food and all that stuff. Now it's
Mhm.
now it takes a man and a woman to create a child. But if you go way back in history, women were able to impregnate themselves. Um, and then we know for one person to be in this planet, it needs to come through a womb of a woman. So if you
Mm.
need to come through the womb of the woman, and we know that children are nurtured and provided for in the womb of a woman, so it is impossible for a man to be first.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
got
right.
no
I
way
agree.
to, you know,
Yeah.
you don't
I
have
was
a
gonna
womb
say,
to.
though,
Mhm.
not to cut you off, but we're past the hour mark now, so I was about to end up wrapping it up. But what was your name again?
Eli.
Oh, Eli. Oh yeah. And I want to say I'll be watching your videos on TikTok, and I wanted you on the show because you're conscious. So I appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, yeah.
And thanks for watching the video. Following on
It'll
TikTok.
be we're live on YouTube. So I'm gonna send you the link.
All right. Oh, you going live on YouTube now?
Yeah, well, I'm already live.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to go. I'm gonna go to do some grocery shopping.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
I'll listen in the car.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to thank you again for joining the show, Tuliamka, and I appreciate you.
Oh,
Thank you
I
for the
didn't hear the last
wisdom.
part.
No, I said
All
thank you
right.
for joining the. Thank you for the wisdom.
Well, thanks for having me. And I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you listening. Um,
Yes.
All right.
All right. Peace,
So,
peace and blessings.
all right. One love. God
All
bless.
right, all
Yeah.
right.
You girls ready to go?
Yeah. I'm trying to exit out.
I don't see. Oh, okay. On the bottom. All right. All right, man. I see you.
Uh, okay, I'm trying to make sure. Okay. All right. That was the first episode of Tuliamka. Tuliamka means we woke up in Swahili, and that was a great first start to the new podcast. Real conversations, and yeah, we like to have meaningful conversations that the black community isn't really talking about. So this is what we do here, and thank you all for joining in. And you see the unk, gotta get the unk. But yeah, I have conversations like this a lot of times. So it's this is I realize I might as well just record it because I like to have intellectual conversations. So be more people on the podcast coming soon. But I want to thank you all for joining. Mr. J, man, thank you for joining. Everyone that's watching, man, I appreciate you for tuning in. And we gonna really touch the heart. Okay, we really gonna touch your heart. We gonna come together as one. We gonna really hear each other. I don't want to talk. That's why I wasn't trying to talk over nobody. I want to just hear what they gotta say and listen, and then they hear what I gotta say and they listen, so we can understand each other. Cause this this way of life, the black woman, you gotta understand. Like I wanted to make this specifically for black women because they're not at their highest that we know that they could be at. They're at a low consciousness, so we gotta really raise that back up. And I'm from the new generation. I can speak on it. Like as the new generation, me being in my 20s, I grew up with these women, like of this generation. So it's like I can't let them fall like this. I may not be able to save every single one, but I'll try to do my best. But yeah, we got to really uh, stop the music, man. It's the music. So we need a female, like you said, Lauren Hill. I gotta check out some Lauren Hill, see what she's talking about. But yeah, some more female black conscious rappers or artists that will change our women drastically. So anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you all for tuning in, and I am signing out. I don't know. Okay, wait, how do I do this? Signing out.